something that I need to tell you. That landlords are actually liable, and they have to comply with 150 different pieces of legislation. So it's quite a hefty number, and that's quite scary. And it's definitely scary as well if you're doing it yourself. So what I thought I would do is I would just touch on 4 of those pieces of legislation this evening out of the 150, mostly because they're quite hot topics at the moment, and they're the things that everybody's speaking about, and they're certainly the conversations that we're having with Arla at the moment. So one of them is the Immigration Act 2016. One of them is about council tax. Another one is fixed penalty notices and banning orders, and then we're going to talk about EPCs. So just really quickly about kind of all 4 of those subjects. And my last one is a very, very quick one, which is EPC ratings. And you probably all know this, there's been quite a lot of noise about it. But this year, in April, every property has got to have an EPC rating of an E or above. So if your property falls below a rating of an E on your energy performance, then you need to get that sorted out. It's quite a confusing one, and it's quite in-depth, so if you want to come and speak to me again at the end, then please do. But it's got to be at no cost to the landlord, which is quite interesting. But there are various things that you can do. So if you had an EPC, funnily enough, they're coming up again for renewal this year because they had a 10-year span. So most of them will be coming up for renewal. Just get the EPC done, because that's probably going to be the cheapest thing. You've probably done works over the years anyway to the property that's going to raise that rating, I would imagine. They're also doing different checks, and they're assessing different things in the property now than they used to. So that might naturally bring the rating up to an E anyway. The other point I'm just about to make, though, will be listed buildings. Now, listed buildings shouldn't have an EPC on them, but if they do, you still have to adhere to the ruling. So this is where you might feel a bit sticky about it, because if you've recently bought, or you've bought a property in the last 10 years, it was a listed building, and it had an EPC on it for any reason, but you bought it with the EPC on it, you have to adhere to it. So it could be the best, well-kept, well-run property in the world, but maybe if it's on the seafront with drafty windows, it might fail. So it's just different things that you need to look at. There is something called the Green Deal, so you can get money for it, you can be funded for it, but you do have to pay it back. You pay it back through your utility bills, which in turn means basically your tenants are going to be paying that through their utility bills. And also the Green Deal stays with the property, so it's not with the landlord, it stays with the property. So if you're selling the property, you're going to have to declare it's got a Green Deal on it. If you're reletting the property, you're going to have to declare it's got a Green Deal on it, because the tenants are going to have to pay for it through their utilities. So there's quite a lot to think about there, but essentially my advice would be just get an EPC first and then figure out where you would have to go from there, because it might be that it would naturally come up to an E anyway. We've only got a couple, Gary, we only got a couple, haven't we, that's less than an E?
Yeah.
So, and we're dealing with them now before. So it's not coming in until April, and we've started to deal with the properties that are falling below that at the moment.
So in your opinion, could it be a D in a couple of years and then gradually they push the bar higher and higher?
Possibly. The plan at the moment is that every property that is new to the market from April this year will have to be E. So if you're even a relet, so it's not something that has been let previously with current tenants in it. It's when it comes available again that you have to look at it. In 2020, however, it will be retrospective. So in 2020, they're going to look at all properties that are tenancies that they need to be in E. So whether or not I'm sure they will bring something in. Yeah, just to keep you on your toes. But I just thought I'd touch on kind of 4 of the main hot topics that are here at the moment. Obviously, there are quite a few more, and you're more than welcome to come and pick my brain later, or if you want to sit down and chat with me at any other time for coffee or whatever, then just let me know. My details are in the pack. You are more than welcome to give me a phone or drop me an email. So thank you so much.